I have seen some experiences of people in my life who are loving someone else who really society would consider to be unlovable. And, the first story I can think of is my aunt, and she is really gracious and tries to be an encourager for people. And she often visits people in her church congregation who are elderly and can't get out. And she was telling us one time about a woman who had a terrible skin condition on her face. It was like warts all over her entire face. So visually, it was difficult to sort of look at her and not feel like you were staring or whatever. And my aunt just loved that woman and gave her physical love in a way that she would hug her and kiss her face as if the face was pure, beautiful skin. And I think that woman just felt for a while that she had a beautiful face because of the way my aunt loved her, even though it was difficult to do. I was thinking how I could do the same. I'm a teacher, and I teach in a high school, and some of my past assignments have been teaching students who are difficult students. It was an alternative school. Their behaviors were poor. How could I show love to them in spite of their unlovable behavior? And it wasn't always easy to find ways. It's easy to find ways to dislike people who don't show you love. And so that's always been the challenge. Once I had a job at the youth jail teaching the boys there, and most of the students there had committed very serious crimes. And yet, even amongst them, there was kind of honor among thieves. They had a pecking order amongst themselves. Certain crimes were unacceptable to them, and anybody who had committed certain things were ostracized by them in their group. And there was one boy who was ostracized by all the others. In fact, he was physically in danger from them because of their constant bullying and abuse of him because of the crime he had committed. And as a teacher, I was always on the lookout for impending violence of the rest of the class against this one boy. And I know that it was hard to keep the thoughts of the crime this boy had committed out of my mind so that I didn't become like the rest of the class, wanting vengeance. Why should this boy, he doesn't deserve any love. He doesn't deserve to get his lessons or his education. He should rot in prison or whatever. And that's how a lot of the guards kind of felt about this one boy. But I just knew that there was value in human life in spite of the behavior, that God can forgive the worst crime. So we're told, forgive others as God forgives us. And so I tried to apply that to this boy. And one day I was teaching the class. The boy was ostracized. He was to one side of the class. The rest of the class was in their corner. And I noticed whispering and glances, and this to me was a sign there could be some violence in the classroom. So I made sure I never turned my back, and I had my panic button ready. And when I saw one particular person, their knees pointing towards the ostracized boy, I thought, in any minute, they're going to get up and rush at this person. So I just went over and sat between the two. So my body was in between the two, and I thought, well, I got my hand ready on my panic button. If anything happens, I'll just push the button and they'll have to climb over top of me first. Nothing happened, so I guess my body being in the way protected this boy. And I'm thinking, why did I protect this boy? Well, if I had been the parents of the victim of that person, I wouldn't have done so. But I think God must put people in people's lives to love the unlovable person for a reason. And I think that's how God wants to show his love, is by having humans love one another. And not everybody can do it, but those that can, well, more power to them.